Hi everybody, great to be back with you, especially as we're finishing up this James series. We've got just a few more weeks to go, and if you remember back to last weekend, we were talking about how faith works when planning ahead. And our key principle that we highlighted was that we're to always include God's wisdom in all of our planning. We get into a real problem when we just start to think about what's best only from our perspective. When we use human wisdom, when we use the best that our world can come up with, the brightest principles that mankind can develop, they're never going to be really close to what God's wisdom is. From His perspective, it's even foolish for us to think of them in any way as comparable to His truth. And so we highlighted the principle again, 4 reasons why we should do it: because of the uncertainty of the future, because of the speed of light, because of the sovereignty of God, and because of the sin of self-sufficiency. And it's that last one that really gets us all, because there's something inside of us that really wants to believe that we've got it all together and we're doing just fine. And that's our tendency, is to leave God out. James' point is, if you know the right thing to do, but you don't do it, it's a sin. And sometimes we need to just get a bit of a wake-up call from the Almighty to recognize again, we've got to plan for the future using His wisdom and not our own. Let me just tell you one quick story. I didn't have time to get to it here. It's about a man who, in a dream, was told by an angel that he would be given one wish. If anything that he wanted, it would be granted him. And the man told the angel he wanted to have a newspaper from 1 year in advance of that date. And his plan was to look in the business section at the stock markets to see which stocks had gone up, and then he would invest heavily and he would be set for life. And so in his dream, he was given the newspaper, he was thrilled, he was thinking about all the money that he was going to make, how secure, how great life would be, he'd never have another worry, until he saw across from the stock market page the obituary, and there was his name. All of a sudden, as he awakened from the dream, he knew that he had been given a wake-up call from the Lord spiritually. If he had everything, and yet it would be taken away from him in death, what good was it? He needed to plan with God's wisdom in mind. And that's the same thing with you and me. I don't know if you've ever been in a business situation where you had to choose between what was right in man's eyes and what was right in God's eyes. Or even in a home situation or in a relationship. It's this including God's wisdom in our planning that's absolutely fundamental to us. You've got a whole bunch of questions there prepared for your small group. I hope that you'll have time to talk about them all, to pray for each other. You pray for me, I'll pray for you, that God would indeed give us His wisdom as we make all of our plans for the future. So blessings on you. I'm thrilled that you're championing this biblical value of connecting to each other, because that's what makes life worth living for us. We're meant to do this together. So have a great time. Lord willing, we'll be back with you next time that I'm teaching.